Alright, so today we start KC4A notes. Before we get started, we should do some review. You guys should have remembered that in KC3 we were reading real world problems and you guys were creating equations or inequalities, right? Alright, and we were always explaining what the variable meant. So, for instance, if I had my equation, which is mx plus b, we were always explaining what the x meant. All right, so in some problems, they were talking about the meal cost, and other they were talking about the profit, how much they sell juice. All right, well, we're doing kind of the same thing in KC4, okay? We're just gonna have to describe what a variable means. So if I have a number for b, I should notice that b is always the same. It's my y-intercept, okay? And my y-intercept doesn't change. That tells you how much do we start at, right? Because remember, y-intercept, we find it when x equals 0. So if x equals 0, that's my starting point. I'm always starting with that number. That number does not change. However, the m stands for slope, right? And we know slope is what? Rate of change. So that means that m is always, how much is it changing by? The changing. It's a changing number. How much am I changing all the time? So keep in mind about the variables, m is slope, x is always the input. So that's what is this one is always changing. So is the y because it's the output, right? But we really need to focus on the y-intercept and the slope for KC4. Trying to explain the problem. All right, and let's get started. Let's go to number 1. It says the cost of a monthly cell phone plan is represented by the expression 0.35 M plus 22, where M is the number of text messages sent. What could the 22 represent? Well, remember y equals, this is my equation, I'm just rewriting it. All right, and don't forget that just because we have different variables doesn't change anything, okay? And x, I have a variable next to my 35, so that means that this represents x. 35.35 cents has to be my slope, and they told you that m is the number of text message. That means that they charge you 35 cents per message. So 35 cents per message. Do we know how many messages do we send? No. That's why we have the letter M. What do you guys think 22 means? If this has to be B, and I told you it's the number where you start. Well, maybe that just means that that is how the total monthly cost of the cell phone plan. That has to be the cell phone plan, right? So you always gonna start with the cell phone plan. Like if you go to buy a phone, they always charge you every month $22 plus the text messages that you do. Obviously, you don't know how many text messages you're gonna do in a month, but they're gonna charge you 35 cents. The 22 has to be the cell phone plan. Can you guys try number 2? All right, moving on to number 3. It says Joanna rents a boat. The pricing is listed in the given table. The equation for the given table is f of x equals 75x plus 300. What does the 75 represent? All right, so don't forget that f of x is just y equals mx plus b. Nothing changes. And if you don't remember, you should start using the pink and blue paper that we did in class. All right, so 300 has to be the number that does not change, and you can see that, right? If they rent for 0 hours, the total cost is going to be 300. That's a starting point. Okay, so 75 has to be what? Well, you see the hours are increasing and the price is increasing. So 75 has to be the cost for each hour. What do you guys think X represents? The hours renting. Do we know how many hours we're gonna rent? No, I don't know how many hours I'm renting, but every hour I'm charging $75. So the cost of each hour, that's what 75 represents. All right, can you guys try the next one? All right, moving to number 5. It says a box of Lucky Charms sells for $4. It has $3 worth of cereal plus $1 for the box. The box includes 2 types of cereal, frosted cereal and marshmallow cereal. Okay, the leprechaun knows how much the different types of cereal cost per pound and how many pounds are in a box. This situation can be represented by x plus y equals 2, 5x plus 6y plus 1 equals 4. All right, the first thing that you need to highlight is what does the x and the y represent? And they told you the frosted cereal is x and the marshmallow cereal is y. All right, obviously, if you have one box of frosted and one box of marshmallow, how many boxes of cereal do you have? 2. So they tell you what does 5 in the second equation represent? Well, 5 is with the x. We know x means frosted cereal. So that 5 just represents how many boxes of cereal we have. So how many boxes of cereal, of frosted cereal we're going to have? 5. So 5 represents the number of frosted cereal. What do you guys think? 6 represents on the second equation. Well, it's next to y. Y means marshmallow. That means that it's the number of marshmallow cereal. And that's all we're doing. We're just describing what does the numbers mean in the equation. All right, can you guys try the next one? All right, next one. It says the junior class is planning prom. P parentheses N equals 75N minus 10,000 models of profit in dollars if N tickets are sold. All right, with just the very first sentence, I need to know what are we talking about. We're talking about profit in dollars, and N represents the tickets that are being sold. Okay, so now I know what N means. How many tickets? So a negative profit means that the expenses exceed the income from tickets. From the function, identify the cost of a ticket, the total expenses for prom, and identify the independent variable. All right, before we move on, we need to figure out what is my independent variable. And you should know that the independent is the x. Remember, x doesn't need of y. Y needs of x. And you should have this written down in your pink and blue paper. X means independent, doesn't need of y. It's by itself or change by itself. All right, so cost of ticket. Well, N means the tickets are being sold. N is next to 75, so 75 has to be the ticket the cost of a ticket, sorry. The total expenses has to be the 10,000. And the independent variable, what is the independent variable? The number of tickets being sold. All right, and why is it the number of tickets being sold? Well, because it depends your profit, right? P means profit. The profit depends on how many tickets you sell. N is always going to be the input. X is the input. N is the input. If you plug in for N, you're going to get your profit. So N is the number of tickets. That's why the independent variable for this problem is the number of tickets being sold. I cannot make a profit if I don't know how many tickets I'm being I'm gonna sell, sorry. All right, can you guys try the next one? All right, number 9. Again, we're just identifying what the numbers mean, and that's all we're explaining. Instead of explaining the variables, we're explaining the numbers, which should be pretty easy if we understand the variables. It says Christy currently has a collection of 12 pairs of Crocs. She keeps her one favorite white pair of Crocs in her office. She plans to buy 3 more pairs of Crocs every year, for Y years. What does the following expression represent? Well, what does Y represent? Y means years, okay? Well, okay, so we have 11. 11, they told us that she had 12 pairs of Crocs, but she kept her one favorite pair. So 11 has to be the number of Crocs that she did not keep. Because she kept one, she had 12, she only kept one, so 11 has to be the number of Crocs that she did not keep. All right, then we have 3Y. Well, they told you she's gonna buy 3 more pairs every year. And again, Y means years, so it just means the number of pairs she is buying every year. She's gonna keep buying 3 more. All right, and the last one, we have our equation, 3Y plus 12. Well, that's our equation, right? So our equation has to equal to a total always, right? So 3Y plus 12 is just the total number of Crocs for a year. And again, how do I know it's going to be for a year? Because they tell you why. Y is part of the equation. Y means every year, right? And that's all we're doing. We just have to identify what each number means, all right? Can we try the next one, please? All right, and my favorite type of questions, the error analysis. You guys gotta be really careful with this. When we see the error analysis, it's because we have a mistake. You cannot tell me that there's no mistake. You cannot have the same answer as them. Okay, so you guys gotta be really, really careful with these questions. I keep getting the same answers as the error analysis. That's wrong. You gotta find the mistake. All right, so it says a worker has dug 5 holes for fence posts. It will take 15 minutes to dig each additional hole. Okay, keep that in mind. It says your friend writes the rule T equals 15N plus 5 for the time T. So T means time in minutes required to dig an additional hole. So N means additional holes. Okay. Describe and correct your friend's error. All right. So they give us our equation T equals 15N plus 5. Okay. N means the additional holes and T means the time. Well, they told you it's going to be 15 minutes to dig each additional hole. How many holes am I going to dig? I don't know. How much time am I going to be? I don't know. But keep in mind that they said additional. Okay? What happened to the 5? It said a worker has dug 5 holes for the fence post. So she had already dug the 5 holes. Like, there's no more additional. So the 5 holes is a mistake. She shouldn't have put, so the mistake is she or your friend. Let's put your friend. I'm going to put your friend included the 5 holes additional whole equation. So my right answer should have been t equals 15n. The 5 were already done, so they should not be included in an equation where they're talking about additional wholes. All right, so yes, I need to see this explanation and I need to see the new equation. That's how you get 3 points on this question. All right, so don't forget, there's always a mistake. Okay, you guys share the last one for me.